I didn't even know what I wanted or needed, to be honest. If you had asked me 10 years ago what type of eggs I wanted or what I wanted for dinner, I would have said whatever. And I would have given away my choice because I would rather you choose than me have a position or have an opinion. Just in case your opinion was different than mine and I didn't want to deal with that conflict. Even though it was so silly when you think about it now. But that's how it felt. And so skincare was an opportunity for me to do something that was for me, that didn't take a lot of time, so I wasn't asking for much. But after, it felt really good. So I felt like my face was a little bit more glowy. I felt like my skin looked better. And over time, I noticed that overall, my skin had improved dramatically and people were noticing. And so that information, external, information, that gave me confidence. Welcome back to another episode of Love Saranghae with us, Peter and Andrea. Today's episode might sound a little unexpected coming from two people who have spent the last decade building a skincare company. Because today, we're going to tell you something that might surprise you. Your skincare routine isn't actually about skincare, at least most of it. Now, don't get me wrong, we love talking about ingredients, formulation, and the science behind healthy skin. Peter especially loves geeking out on the science. But after spending the last decade speaking with tens of thousands of women, we've realized something much bigger. Yes, women come to us asking about the hyperpigmentation, the dryness, and sensitivities. But if you listen long enough, those conversations almost always become about something bigger. About stress, motherhood, menopause, caregiving, grief, confidence, feeling invisible, or simply feeling like you've lost a little bit or a lot of bit of yourself along the way. And that made us realize that maybe skincare isn't just about what happens to your skin. Maybe it's more about what happens to you during those few quiet moments each morning and evening when you choose, yes, it's a choice, to take care of yourself. So today we're exploring why your skincare routine might be doing far more than you ever realized, and why those 10 minutes of your time each day during your skincare routine could become one of the most important parts of your day. Let's get to it.
Yeah, and of course, I know everything about that, right? The challenge of motherhood, the challenges of menopause. I'm going through it right now, actually.
Wow, look, you're going through it through me.
Yeah, I think what I'm excited about it here is I think Andrea and I have needed to have this conversation, just her and I, actually. For a long time. And this is an opportunity for us to actually dive into a subject that I think is very important and it doesn't get talked about enough. So it's less about skincare today and more about you, more about what are on the shoulders of women today, of mothers, especially middle-aged mothers that are going through something like this. And we're going to explore that subject. And maybe we could we can bring it back a little bit too about skincare. But mostly, let's talk about what your problems are, what your challenges are, and what you're going through. Okay? Yeah. So
what I'm most excited about is having you pay attention.
Oh my God. I'm going to hire an actor to sit here.
I'm excited about you paying attention so that you can notice. Because often that's what frustrates me most, is that you don't notice. And I know you don't not notice on purpose. I know you just don't notice. And that's so frustrating for me, because it's so hard to always say, did you not see that I sweat through the bed last night? Did you not see that I had to get up and shower? Did you not see?
I want everyone to know that this is a podcast and nothing will escape. This
the
will not,
podcast walls of the World Wide
this
Web.
is only a podcast, and it's what talked about here stays here.
Yeah. All
Okay,
right, let's
let
get
me
in.
let me answer
Let's
the
get
first
started.
question. So, why do you think, in the context of skincare and context of women, right? Why do you think skincare routines become so important to a woman?
Well, for me, skincare was, and I say this a lot, skincare saved my life. And people are like, whoa, calm down. That's so crazy. Don't be so dramatic. But it really did. And the reason I say that is because it was the first step towards taking better care of myself consistently. And I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know how to ask for help or how to ask for what I wanted or needed. I didn't even know what I wanted or needed, to be honest. If you had asked me 10 years ago what type of eggs I wanted or what I wanted for dinner, I would have said whatever, and I would have given away my choice, because I would rather you choose than me have a position or have an opinion, just in case your opinion was different than mine, and I didn't want to deal with that conflict, even though it was so silly when you think about it now. But that's how it felt. And so skincare was an opportunity for me to do something that was for me, that didn't take a lot of time, so I wasn't asking for much. But after, it felt really good. So I felt like my face was a little bit more glowy. I felt like my skin looked better. And over time, I noticed that overall my skin had improved dramatically, and people were noticing. And so that information, external, information, that gave me confidence. And then I said, well, if it only takes me a few minutes every day to do this, and that's what it's given me, what else can I do?
That's a great segue, for sure.
So I think, and also I think beyond that, I think a skincare routine is something no one else can do for you. So it's also that where you really have to own it. And often women who are really good at giving away their time and their power and their choices, having that's theirs is another way of owning something.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's actually a historical context to this too, right? You go back 1,000 years, and men would wage wars for territory and for wealth, right? And women were looked upon as accessories. Women were basically a barter for families to get together. And that's how alliances were made. If men had armor and weapons, women, the only true powerful weapon the woman had was her appearance. It was the way that she could manage or control or control her own fate by being beautiful for the powerful soldiers or men or warlords around
the eyes of the powerful.
Yeah. And that has permeated through history, right? So what I want to, and why I'm bringing this up is taking care of your skin or being physically or visually beautiful is not just simply vanity. It's rooted in history. This is your power, right? This is something that you've had historically been able to use to control your own fate or the fate of your family or the fate of your country for princesses and queens.
Back then,
yeah. So
yeah.
And it's something that's ingrained in humanity. We may not have the same needs today as it was 1,000 years ago, but what it does explain is that skincare, even makeup, or even just feeling and looking beautiful, it's not just frivolousness. It's not just vanity. There is a historical context rooted in why it's so important for women and for history.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank God it's not like that now.
That's right.
But I mean, we can still argue that more good-looking women, they get paid more, or better looking. There are still those contexts that we see today. But that's not really what we're talking about. We're really talking about women in the context of well-being and giving away that, especially as a mother. I found not as much before being a mom, but as a mom, as soon as I had my first child, I literally gave away my humanity, myself. And it became everything about my husband and my child. And I was raised, not intentionally, but I was raised to believe that a woman who kept a clean, good house, who fed her family well, who took care of everything and still looked a certain way, that was success. So she worked. Now she works. Before they didn't have to work, but she works, she cooks, she cleans, she does everything. She doesn't ask for help. And she still shows up pretty, like shaved and whatever. And that was what success looked like. And that ideal of what a woman should be, whether we subscribe to it or not in our personal life, that is what women are being taught indirectly or directly. And it's not serving anyone. It's not serving our sons who are growing up to be lazy and not noticing things. And it's not serving our daughters who are growing up to think that that's what they're supposed to do. It's miserable both ways. And so I think what it's created is a generation or many generations of women who don't have an opinion, who don't know what they want, don't know how to advocate for what they want. They don't, they've just given themselves away to raising their children and, supporting their husbands or whatever.
So this is a great segue for the question then. So then let's talk about the importance of a routine, a skincare routine for yourself, for a woman, and why that is so important to your overall well-being, right? A routine just for yourself.
Yeah. I think in general, we thrive in routines, certain routines, not all routines, but certain good, healthy habits. I think doing those and being consistent with those helps us to get the big goals that we're going after. So it's like tiny daily habits that end up having the biggest result, right? So it's not, what you do once a week. It's what you do every day that really makes a difference. And so I think that is a big part of it. It's that it's a healthy habit that has an internal effect of feeling good, and the act of touching and that kind of thing is good for your nervous system, but it's also the external effect where your skin looks better, makeup goes on better if you're a woman and you're wearing makeup. All of that starts to look and feel better, so it's rewarding as well. Yeah. But I also think that it's, especially in the small things that you do every day, it's the realization that you don't need to, it doesn't need to be big changes to make a big impact.
That's right.
And I think that's the thing with skincare especially, or working out is another one, where people think they need to spend 2 hours a day at the gym to be fit. But actually, no, if you just spent 15 minutes every single day, you would have a greater impact than if you spent 2 hours at the gym twice a week.
Well, there's a really great video going around of a commencement speech delivered. I think it was a commencement speech for a military Navy school, and there was an admiral. He was retiring, and he gave that speech, and he talked about the 10 rules of life, and his first rule of life was first get up and make your bed.
Yeah.
Right? Like of all the 10,
I resonate with that so much.
So the 10 rules of his 10 rules of a great life, or what you need to do to build your life. And you could have said anything. The very first rule is very specific, which is get up and make your bed.
Yeah.
And he doesn't mean, and we can I don't think I need to talk about it, but I will because it's a podcast and I need to explain. But it's not the bed making that's the power here. Just because your bed is made doesn't mean God will come in and bless you with luck. What he means is to start your day with a routine that will guarantee you success. Yeah. Like making your bed and getting it made as best as you can sets the day for everything else, right?
Well, it's like your first win of the day.
Yeah.
And so it's like stacking. Like, okay, I did that. Now what else can I do? You know? And it sounds silly, but it really does work. I am that person. I make my bed every morning. And if my bed's not made in the morning, I get really upset.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And I would add, number 2 is spend 5 minutes for yourself with a routine that makes you feel good. If it's skincare, I think that's very, very relevant. I think millions of women can start their day with a 5-minute skincare routine, and it's a win. And it's for you, right? And nobody else is, not your husband will not come and interrupt you. Your husband will not take you. Well, actually, they do take your skincare creams, skincare
they might
products.
steal your creams.
Yeah, that is true.
We have customers who've said that. They've said that their husbands are jealous by how good they look. And now they're using the creams too because they want to look better.
Yeah, well, most of our male customers actually come from that. They
their wives and their partners,
and then they get too. But in that thought, it's time for you, right? Whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. It's time for you, and it's okay. You have every permission to take 5 minutes for yourself every day and get that win. Right?
Yeah.
Get that win. So there you go.
We're giving you permission. The man in the room is giving you permission to take 5 minutes for your skincare.
Well, I mean, I take 5 minutes. Listen, my wife is the female perspective in this podcast here right now. But I will tell you right now, I do my skincare routine religiously, morning and night. It doesn't take that long.
It doesn't, and especially Peter. Peter's so fast. Like I'm still brushing my teeth, and he's. And look, and before you think that I have maybe 2 products, listen, I do a full 6-step skincare routine at night and a 4-step routine in the morning. I change it up because I have to test certain products and formulations, but I'm religious with it because it makes a difference. True. That's
what can I say? It makes a difference.
All right.
Okay. Question 3 here. Have we been thinking about skincare all wrong? So when people come to us, they usually ask, what serums do I need? What creams do I use? How do I do this? How do I do that? But is that really the question?
Well, I think those things are important because if you don't have the right products for your skin, then it does become an issue because you're going to burn your face or there's going to be no effect and you're throwing money out. But I think healthy skin isn't built in one day. It's built through consistency. Consistency comes from enjoying an experience. So we don't do something consistently every day that we hate. And I think that's the whole thing here is that we need to find ways to enjoy things that are good for us. And when we enjoy it, we do it more intentionally. And so when you think of I've made this suggestion before that seems to have worked, it's like build in your skincare routine to your calendar. So if you're someone who's really organized, then you put in your calendar, like at 6 o'clock when I get home, the first thing I do is my skincare. I don't wait till I'm so tired. I do it as soon as I get home. I change my clothes, I get comfy, I wash my face, I do my routine. And maybe that's when you have that conversation with your family and you say, I'm going to take 10 minutes every day at 6 o'clock. Nobody bother me. And I don't care if you guys want to watch TV, if you want to make yourself a snack. I don't care. This is what I'm doing. And you go upstairs or to your bathroom or wherever it is, and you light a candle. Maybe you put on some nice music. Maybe your skincare routine is on a beautiful tray with an orchid or something. Who knows? Whatever lights you up, whatever makes you feel good about doing something, do it. Trick yourself into doing it until it becomes a habit. And then you start to see the result. And then that's also encouraging. So I think that instead of looking at skincare like Another thing I have to do. I don't have time, or I'm just going to skip it. Turn it into something simple that will still be effective and be consistent with that. That's like the number one thing I can say is simplify if it feels overwhelming. Make sure you're using the right products so that you will actually achieve the results you're setting out to achieve and not wasting your money. And then be consistent with that.
Yeah. I mean, the way I look at it is, one way of looking at it is skincare is the one organ, and it is the largest organ in the human body. It's the one organ where you can visibly see the changes and the improvements with every single step. You could take protein powder, you can take supplements, but you don't really know what's going on inside your body. With the skin, at the very least, 5 minutes a day, I can see that my skin isn't dry. It's not cracking. It doesn't hurt. When the wind hits it, it doesn't feel so bad. It looks a little smoother than it did. All of these things are visual feedback loops that can help you. That can help to say you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It's just 5 minutes a day. You're doing the right thing, and here's the result. And then that leads to better diet, maybe a little more exercise, better sleep, right? And some of these things you can't measure so well because it takes such a long time for the effects to happen.
Yeah.
But what's encouraging is if your skincare routine can show you positive effects so quickly, and so visually, perhaps these other routines can also help as well. That's another thing, right? It's a gateway into a further well-being.
But which is what happened to me. I started with my skincare, and when that was so successful, I was like, oh, what else can I do?
Yeah.
What else can I add to that? And also the idea, if we go back to habits and why they're good for us, if you think of a baby, when they're going to sleep and we're training them to sleep, what do we do before bedtime? We always have a book. We always have a bath. We maybe have a song. And we do the same thing in the same order every day enough times, and then the baby starts to recognize that this habit equals or translates to sleep. And so they sleep better. And it's the same thing with your skincare routine. If you're doing it every night and you have a similar routine every night, eventually your brain is going to start to understand that this is wind down time. And so as long as you're not adding and scrolling on Instagram for 2 hours after, which I am guilty of sometimes too. But if you're not adding that and you're just doing your skincare routine at night, maybe a bath, maybe nice music, whatever it is, your body and brain start to recognize the pattern that you're preparing for sleep. And then your sleep is better. And then when you sleep better, you have more energy the next day to maybe go for a workout in the morning or wake up earlier and get your day started earlier.
Yeah.
So it all sort of supports each other, and it starts with your skincare.
Yeah. Listen, momentum is very powerful, right? Momentum.
Either way, that's right.
Yeah, either way. Momentum can stop you from doing things, but it can also push you to do other things, right? So, you got to decide which side of momentum do you want to be on, right? And it's funny because right now I'm in a state where I haven't been able to train because of schedule for a few days in a row, and I gotta tell you, it's harder for me to get out there. My motivation is as great when I've stopped for 2 or 3 days, right? So momentum can switch so quickly the other way as well.
100%.
So yeah.
100%.
Oh, this is an interesting subject, right? So this is something that I think it's juicy to get into. In the last 10 years, we've talked to lots of customers, lots of women. And what it has taught us is that when we talk skincare, when we talk the subject of taking care of one's skin, it's rarely about products and actual skincare itself. It's more about everything else that the customer is feeling, right? What do you say to that, Andrea?
100%. I think when we're listening, which we are doing a lot more now than we used to, I think the customers are guiding us and directing us into where we are going next. I don't think that we're creating just products anymore. what we are creating, or my wish is for us to be creating an opportunity for women to pause, to share, and to create something meaningful to them. And I think, often when someone comes to me at an event and says, I need this product, I'll ask them a few questions. And then all of a sudden they start to say, I'm going through menopause, and the products that I was using before are not working anymore. And my skin's so sensitive, and I'm sweating a lot. And, I'm exhausted because my kids are doing this, or my husband and I are breaking up, or, and it really does show the layers of what women are dealing with, and men too. I don't think we give enough credit to what men go through as well.
Oh my God.
We don't talk about it as much.
My menopause is giving me credit. I'm just kidding.
Men have their own set of issues, and maybe we'll do another podcast on that, because they have their own stuff that they need to deal with. No. But I think we'll get Brian back. But I think with women, it really is about supporting them through the life events. So it's, divorce, loss of a spouse, menopause, motherhood, caregiving, grief, vulnerability, feeling invisible. All of that comes with the wrinkles.
Yeah, when
hyperpigmentation comes after you have babies.
Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right. When a customer comes to us and says, I'm worried about my wrinkles, what she's really telling us is, and it's so true, because now I look back and it's so obvious to me. What they're really telling me or telling us is, I'm getting older, I'm changing, I'm not sure about who I am anymore, and I don't know if I'm confident about that. That's what she's
I don't
really
like
saying.
it. I don't like what's happening.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do about it.
Yeah, that's what she's really telling us, right? And it's becoming so much more clear that that's what our customers want to talk to us about.
Yeah. They want to share. They want to be heard. They want to be listened to. They want someone to care. And they want to tell their stories. Like, people love to share when they feel safe to do so. And I think that's something that I'm proud of, that we get a lot of that. And we get to learn who the people we're serving really are.
You know what's really interesting is I'm having this conversation with you, and I'm reminded of how men communicate, right? Like, so men, if you take a look at the men in your lives, and you'll notice that there's no verbal communication, right? So sons and fathers don't say, "Hey, Dad, this is my day today, and I love you." Or fathers will not go to their sons and say, let me share with you what I went through the day and how I was feeling, and I love you. But what they do is they say, let's go out and cook a barbecue, or let's throw a ball around together, or why don't we go to a play around of golf? And the shared activity and the way they share their feelings through that activity is how they communicate. And skincare is that ritual for women, right? It's a way of communicating, of bonding, and of telling each other what's going on without having to say those words. It's part of the bonding process. It's part of the communication process, because it's a ritual that you can go through together. And it's very similar to what men go through as well, because we never talk about it.
Well, I think it's getting better. I think the conversation around men's mental health and well-being is becoming more of a thing. It's not as taboo, and it is being more encouraged. And I think we should celebrate that, because that in and of itself is a big win. But I also think that that's something that we can take a look at. Like, when you think of your own, like Marcus is very good at communicating his feelings. But how do you feel about it when he does that? And looking at that, I think, is really what the work is for you.
Well, like I said, I really like how he hits that 7-iron.
Exactly.
How he compresses the 7-iron. Okay, if someone listening only has 10 minutes today, this is a good one. So if somebody who's listening here today and only says, I have 10 minutes today, that's all I have, what would you tell her right now?
Put your phone down.
Yeah.
That's the first thing, and it's so hard because sometimes, like me, then I'm so tired. I don't want to think or do anything, and I want to just mentally check out and doom scroll. But what I've learned is whenever I do that, I don't feel good. It doesn't feel good after. I can't sleep as well. I'm grumpy. I'm irritable. I just don't feel good. So my first thing is to put your phone down. And then what I would suggest, honestly, is think about what you love to do. Think about what lights you up, what brings you joy. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be expensive. It can be something that you have. Maybe you only have 10 minutes and you're going to take a nap. Maybe you have 10 minutes and you're going to read a few pages of the book. Maybe you're going to meditate. Maybe you're going to go wash your face and do skincare.
Exactly. Beautiful.
So whatever it is for you, what I would say is don't rush those 10 minutes. Don't try to get them over with. Be really present and intentional. Enroll your people that this is what you're doing. So maybe if it's in the middle of the day, you're out of office for 10 minutes. And nobody's going to bother you for 10 minutes. Let them know, I'm out of commission for 10 minutes. If it's at home, you tell your family, I'm locking my door, nobody should bother me for 10 minutes. Because those 10 minutes, if you do them every day, I promise you it will change your life. It start there, and it'll get bigger, and it'll get better, and you'll have more than 10 minutes eventually. But for right now, start with something that's bite-sized, that feels safe, and that feels doable, because everyone has 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And you deserve it.
You so do. You have permission from me. Yes, you do.
Your skincare dad is giving you permission.
I'm your formulator.
That's funny. All right. Well, as we wrap up today's conversation, we hope you'll look at your skincare routine a little bit differently. Healthy, radiant skin will always matter to us. It's what we've dedicated our careers to, and we'll always be passionate about creating products that we truly love and that make a difference. But we've come to believe that the routine itself is just as important as products you use. Those few quiet minutes each day aren't just another task to check off your list. They're an opportunity to slow down, to breathe, yes, breathe, reconnect with yourself, to remind yourself that your well-being matters too. So, before you rush into tomorrow or the next thing you have to do, I would love you to consider one simple question. What do your 10 minutes look like today?
Oh.
And are you truly present for them? How are you choosing yourself today? Let us know. I would love to know. Send me a DM and just answer the question, how am I choosing myself today? Thanks so much for being here with us. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you have anything to add or share, or you want to tell us a story, we'd love to hear them. Send us a DM on Instagram, or you can email us too. Until next time, we'll see you soon.
Bye.